fun begins.
How's it going?
Hello.
Well,
Greetings, young Jedi.
hello there.
Hey everyone, Hybrid Toy Reviews here, and today we are taking a look at another Skeleton Crew figure. Today I bring you Neel, based on his Attin appearance. I'm really loving the show. As of the time of recording, I recorded this on Sunday, so it's before Tuesday, so it's before episode 4 has dropped. So hopefully Neel has pulled through and he's with us for another week, and hopefully I'm not missing anything great plot, requirement for some of my conversation throughout the review. So if I talk about things that are no longer relevant to the plot, just know that it was reviewed before it happened. So yeah, but Neel, oh my god, he's probably my favorite of the kids, not gonna lie. They say that you shouldn't pick favorites with children and stuff, but I'm not the parent, so yeah, he's my favorite kid. I know that there are people that are geeking because they thought he was going to be like Max Rebo's species, and then he's not, and I don't care. I don't care about any of that. He's just a blue elephant alien, and that's totally fine. Dude has charisma, dude has riz, dude is 110% skibbity, and I'm here for all of it. Neel is just an amazing part of the show. I have really liked basically every scene that he has been in so far, and yeah, getting him in action figure form was just a no-brainer. It had to happen. Something now I will say, and it's just a thought with these children figures, they're shorter, and on that, with that in mind, I always kind of think they really need to work on filling the box with these. And just looking at the window here, it does look pretty full. There's been a lot of times where they give us a Yoda figure with a cane and a lightsaber, and it's like, there's so much empty room. We need a council chair. And I know they've done that in the 2-pack now. But, there's a lot going on here. I think it's going to make for an exciting review. So with that said, let's get into the packaging and see if Neel's a pickup for you. We have Neel in the packaging. Let's go ahead and get into it. This is your standard Black Series packaging. Nothing really to write home about here. You have your Black Series logo up atop, a ginormous window showing Neel and his accessories off nicely. You have number 2 in the line, Neel at Attin. Star Wars Skeleton Crew, Warning 4 Plus Hasbro. This side features some really awesome art of our number 1 Giga Chad, and then his name at the bottom. Looking really good. On this side over here, you have your wraparound window, wraparound yellow stripe, Black Series logo. Around back, you have a zoom in of that art once more. Star Wars The Black Series, Neel, and then a bio about the show, not the character. Number 2 in the line, bunch of legal stuff, Disney, Hasbro, barcode, legal stuff, hanger tab up top. Nothing super remarkable here. It's very standard. So with that said, let's get Neel out of the box and see what he's all about. Here's Neel out of the packaging. Let's go ahead and start looking at these accessories. Now, I gotta say, I think they really cooked here. They did some amazing work. So for his first accessory, he comes with, I believe these are binoculars. I don't super remember them from the show, so my bad. But they are a very nice gunmetal-y silver color. These two nubbins here are what made me think they're binoculars. Underneath, see, there's a bit of a receiver for a tab there. Hang on to that. But they look very good, and my thing is they don't really line up with his eyes per se, but aliens using human technology, whatever. He features a peg on the back of his belt, and they store nicely. They look like they belong there, and that is going to be the theme here. So up next, he comes with his walkie-talkie. This is very 80s, very into the aesthetic of the show. Really do love it. It's in a gray plastic base with some silver on the speaker vents, and then some kind of browny orange in the base there with the white and blue buttons and a little copper-covered colored dial. Looks very good. Very nicely sculpted. Even has a battery door in the back. Are you kidding me? This is great. It features a peg there, and again, he can wear this on his belt. He can carry it. This is great. So yeah, the accessory storage here is superb. And then he comes with this flashlight. This looks oh so cool. It looks like just kind of your generic orange plastic flashlight that you could even get to date, with some silver around the lens and then silver on the lens. They didn't do white or clear or anything to differentiate, but that's okay. And then some silver around the bottom, and then an exposed silver side there. I don't know what the prop department was doing here, and then there's the 4 buttons in there. But, like, it would be cool. You know that guy on TikTok who's like, Star Wars props under $10, Pelimoto scanner tool is this Harbor Freight flashlight. Like, it'd be cool to know what type of flashlight they use for the show. If these are, like, total custom builds, or if they just, like, took, like, a Rayovac flashlight and just, like, glued a couple of things on, which is very in the essence of Star Wars. But I would be curious. I would like to know. So, yeah, these look really, really good. And it features some storage on the backpack, which looks great. So looking at the backpack, as you can see, it's got a bunch of things spilling out of pockets, a ton of pouches, a little silver buckle there. But there is a hole up top, and the flashlight stows in it like so. It is carried very nicely, and I love this. This is very, very well done. Obviously, Wim and Neel do a lot of just adventuring and, let's go play in the woods, let's go do this, let's go explore. And so it's just cool to know that they gear up and they have some neat stuff for their missions and, walkie-talkie buddies, which, again, really does push the 80s Stranger Things aesthetic kind of that this show's got going for it. But also something I really love, sometimes these backpacks are very hard to put on action figures. You have to work it underneath of his ears with the straps, so that can be a little bit. But once you have it on, it's on, and it looks good, and it lays nice, and the binoculars there don't get in the way. It just lays on top of the binoculars. And yeah, I mean, he is all geared up. And that's something that I really love with this, is every accessory you can store here. None of these are going in the parts bin. They are staying with the figure. I love that. I love that. I love that. And it just makes me feel like, even though he is half the size of a normal 6-inch figure, more than half. He's probably more like in the 5-inch range, honestly, because they're not like little kids. They're like middle school aged kids. So they're not like, they're not like 4 foot tall or nothing. They're in the 5 foot range. But, there's a lot of accessories given just to really help you, feel like you're getting your value here. So yeah, ultimately I am really liking it. Looking at the head sculpt here, it's very well done. It looks like Neel. I like the coloring they shows here. It's kind of like an Eeyore color. It's kind of like not a super light, but not a dark, it's like a purpley blue. And he does have some very nice blue hair. With the comb over on top, Neel is getting all the women's. And those eyes, just the big elephant eyes and the little trunk thing going on. And just looks super nice. When you get looking underneath, you're not going to find a mouth or anything. You're just going to see like a hollowed out head with a socket. But yeah, such is life. He does have a little bit of a color transition where it's been cast in this kind of like peach like flesh tone, because he does have some lightness when you see his ears move, and underneath like you'll have different gradients of skin tone depending on if it's in softer areas, like joints. And so you do have that going on with the head. It's applied very nicely. I've heard of people talking about having QC issues. This was just the one that was on the shelf at Walmart, and I think it looks pretty good. It just looks great. I do really like this. All those fine wrinkles in the trunk area, like, this is just superb. And then talking about texture, just wow. Look at that shirt. It's got a very nice knit pattern, the kind of orange undershirt going on here. Looks oh so good. Sculpted amazingly. And then the overalls are just excellent. They have that kind of denim-y, kind of like line work going on. And just so well done. I mean, there's no flaw with this. He's got this belt going on, which I took everything off of just so you can see the belt for what it is. And it is sculpted. It is not like an overlay. It is sculpted too. But it's got so many little silver dads and doodads, and just looks oh so good. And then the pants are covered in pockets. And again, have that fabric, denim-y texture to him. And then he's wearing the Tims, and they even have a smidge of wear. Now, this is that screen-printed wear. It's a little spotty, so, like some people are going to just go on and on about how terrible it looks. I think it looks good. Just a little bit of chalky spatter on the boots. But, yeah, Neel has the Tims with drip like this. It's just shocking that he doesn't have all the girls in class, But no, Neel is just goated. Something worth noting, his hands are very very chunky. That's accurate, in the show. He's got some, like, fat, elephant-y kind of fingers. He's got 3 fingers on each hand and then a thumb. And so, like, for any of the accessories, you really have to pry the hand open to get it in. But the nice thing is they are very rubbery. So, like, they open well enough, and it doesn't feel like you're going to ruin anything by leaving an accessory in there. You can get all the range you need just to get them to be like talking into the walkie-talkie, and I feel like that's the important thing, the walkie-talkie and the flashlight. I don't think you're going to get them holding the binoculars to his eyes. Well, maybe, it might be possible. But yeah, I'm just really, really loving this. Let's run through some articulation. So, he's as modern as he can be given the nature of the sculpt. I'll mention that. So he does feature a double bulbar neck, but he can only look up that high, which admittedly is more than Jod somehow. That coat wasn't helping him any. But you can look up that far, down that far. You can get some side to side, a little bit of pivot in there. Looks pretty good. His arms can come out to a T-pose. There's no butterfly joint. When these torsos start getting smaller like this, they just can't do it. So, unfortunately, no butterfly joint. Can 360 at the shoulders. You just have to bring it out a little bit to get around the ear. Features elbows that can bend to 90 degrees, swivel at the elbow. His wrist can 360, and then they gave him hinges. So the left wrist hinges in and out, and the right one hinges up and down. That's interesting. There's a mid-torso ball joint, allows him to crunch that far forward, that far back. You get some side to side and a bunch of pivot in there. The legs can kick that far apart. He can go that far forward, a touch back. There's no thigh rotation. That's okay, because the single jointed knees go just to 90, maybe not quite, and then he swivels at the knee, so you kind of get your swivel point in the leg there. And then the feet can point that far down. Not a ton, but baggy pants. And then that far forward. And there's a forward-facing pin for rocker, allowing you to get him in some decently wide stances with both feet flat on the ground. Getting him stood up and pushed back. Let's do some size comparisons. So here he is next to Jod. Again, I don't know what's going on in episode 4 and beyond. I'm recording this before episode 4 drops, so I only have up till episode 3. So hopefully they're still on the same team. But, of course, he's going to be shorter than anyone else I could bring in here, which, to me, means that they have scaled him correctly. I think he looks good next to everyone else, and I'm super satisfied with this. So, in conclusion, what do I think of the Black Series Neel? Not gonna lie, I think this figure is dang near flawless. And that is something that I'm happy to say about basically all these figures in the Skeleton Crew lineup. I haven't gotten through all of them yet. They all look oh so good, and I've seen some reviews, and so I'm kind of going into it kind of knowing what I'm getting. But these are just beautifully sculpted, well-articulated figures, and just so nice to see on a show that I think so many people were dogging on before it even hit, and now they seem to be enjoying. Like, I'm really loving this merch drop. I'm really loving these figures. I'm really loving the show. Like I said, just a great time to be a Star Wars fan, having a lot of fun with it. So, that's it for now. Thank you all for watching. It means a lot that you did. If you enjoyed, you should leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that end of video stuff. You know the drill. I'm going to go work on a review of one of the other kids for now. So, until next time, may the Force be with each and every one of you, and goodbye.